AITA for telling my husband I cheated on him, even though I didn't. Hi everyone, I, 26F, need some perspective on this mess of a situation I created. My husband, 30M, and I have been married for 6 years. Our relationship started like a dream. We were the typical high school sweethearts who got married young, fresh out of college, and started a family. It felt like everything was falling into place perfectly. We were both excited, had big plans, and genuinely thought we had each other's back. But 2 years into our marriage, everything changed. It was shortly after the birth of our first child, a beautiful daughter who instantly became the light of our lives. My husband went to a friend's wedding, one that I couldn't attend because I was still recovering from childbirth. A few weeks later, I found out he had cheated on me with a high school friend he met at the wedding. He confessed, tearfully claiming it was a one-time mistake, blaming the alcohol and the heat of the moment. He was so convincing, pleading that he still loved me, and that it was the biggest regret of his life. I wanted to believe him so badly. We had a little girl together, and I didn't want to shatter our new family over a single drunken mistake. So I forgave him, or at least I told myself that I had. In reality, I was too naive and scared to face what his betrayal truly meant. But it didn't end there. 3 years into the marriage, we had our second child, a boy, who's now 3. Life was hectic with 2 little kids, and I was trying my best to keep it all together. Around that time, I decided to make a special birthday collage for my mother-in-law. While going through my husband's phone looking for some old family photos, I stumbled upon something that made my stomach drop. Screenshots of profiles from dating apps. My heart sank. I kept scrolling, finding vague but incriminating messages with different women dating back to the early years of our marriage, long before the woman from the wedding. When I confronted him, he tried to deny it, but I had the screenshots. I had the messages. The dates matched exactly with times when he reassured me that everything was good, when he promised that he loved me, and that I was the only one. After a long, painful confrontation, he finally admitted to everything. He broke down, sobbing, saying he hated himself for what he'd done. He told me how foolish and immature he had been, how he thought he could get away with it, and how he'd been terrified of losing me if I ever found out. He promised that he had changed since our son was born, and that his family meant the world to him. I didn't know what to do. His apology felt genuine, but the trust was shattered. I felt trapped between my own anger and the desire to keep our family intact. I told him I forgave him again, even though I hadn't. Not really. The wound was too deep, and every time I looked at him, all I could see were the lies. For the past couple of years, my husband has been the picture-perfect spouse. He's gone above and beyond to make up for his past mistakes, being attentive, loving, and supportive. But I could never fully let go of what happened. His attempts at making things right felt like a band-aid on a gaping wound. Last weekend, something inside me snapped. After putting the kids to bed, I sat him down and told him that I had cheated on him. I hadn't, of course, but I wanted him to feel the pain and betrayal I've been carrying all this time. I wanted him to understand, even if just a little bit, what it was like to be in my shoes. The look on his face was something I'll never forget. He went pale, his eyes filled with hurt and disbelief. "No, you wouldn't. You couldn't," he kept repeating. He begged me for details. When? Who? How could you do this to us? It was like I had ripped his heart out right in front of him. He said he thought we were finally in a good place, and now I had destroyed everything we had worked so hard to rebuild. I told him, "I expect you to forgive me, just like I forgave you." Since then, he's been a shell of himself, barely speaking to me, looking at me like I'm a stranger. He's acting like he's the victim, saying that what I did was worse because we were finally healing, and I've torn us apart again. And here's the thing, part of me feels guilty. I feel like I've manipulated him in the cruelest way possible, and maybe I've stooped to a level I never thought I would. But another part of me, the hurt, angry part, feels like he needed to experience at least a fraction of the pain he put me through. I know what I did was petty and vindictive, but I don't know if I'm truly the one at fault here. Maybe I was wrong for lying, but does that make me as bad as him? Am I the asshole for wanting him to feel the weight of his own actions? Or am I justified in my anger after everything he put me through? Edit. I've been reading through the comments, and some of you have asked for more context, so here goes. 1. Why didn't I leave? Leaving was never an easy option for me. When I found out the extent of his cheating, I was a stay-at-home mom with no income of my own. I had left my job to focus on raising our kids, and I felt stuck. Financially, emotionally, and mentally. I didn't have a strong support system, and I was scared of what life would look like as a single mom. So, I chose to stay, convincing myself that I could make it work if only he would change. 2. His perfect behavior after the confession. A lot of people have pointed out that his sudden transformation into a perfect husband after his confession might be manipulation. Looking back, I can see that he was trying to control the narrative to prove that he was a good guy who just made mistakes. But no amount of flowers, date nights, or kind words can erase the past. It just made me feel like he was trying to buy my forgiveness. 3. The aftermath of my lie. Since I told him that I cheated, things have been tense. He's sleeping on the couch, and we barely speak except when it's about the kids. He's been going out more, something he didn't do in the last 2 years of making it up to me, and I'm starting to wonder if he's out seeking revenge or just drowning his sorrows. Either way, it's clear we're both hurting. 4. What I realized last night. Last night, as I was putting the kids to bed, my daughter asked me why Daddy was sad. I didn't have an answer. I didn't want to lie to her, but I also didn't want to expose her to our issues. That's when it hit me that in this whole mess, the kids are the true victims. They deserve better than 2 parents who are locked in a battle of who can hurt the other more. I'm not proud of what I did. I don't think I'm any closer to forgiving him. And now I've added a layer of guilt for something I didn't even do. I guess I just wanted him to feel something, anything that would make him understand the depth of what he did to us. But now, I'm stuck wondering if there's any way back from this, or if we're just destined to hurt each other forever. So, Reddit, am I the asshole for lying about cheating? Did I take things too far? Or was this the wake-up call he deserved?